Imagine getting hated by a fellow baller, or even worse, your own teammate. From rivalries to straight up trash talk, these are the 8 footballers who hate each other. And first up, Lionel Messi and Wout Weghorst had a heated clash in football's showpiece event.
¿Qué mira, bobo? Anda para allá, bobo.
At the 2022 World Cup quarter-finals, Argentina was facing the Netherlands in a heated clash, and it was chaotic. For Messi, this one was more than just a game, it was personal. See, the Dutch coach, Louis van Gaal, had called Messi out days earlier and said he was lazy, and that the Argentine team was all playing for him. Couple that with Van Gaal also making Barca get rid of Messi's idol growing up, Joan Roman Riquelme, and Messi was out for revenge. Heading into the final minutes of this one, Argentina took a 3-1 lead, and looked like they'd be able to see this one out. But coming on a sub, Wout Weghorst bagged a brace to draw the game to 3-3. The crazy thing is, despite the scoreline, this wasn't even the real moment of chaos. The ball was still in play when Nicolas Otamendi kicked it into the Dutch technical area, and as soon as it hit the dudes on the bench, everything went out of control. The fight was huge and even continued until after. In the end, Messi and Argentina managed to win on penalties, but after the game, even more chaos. As captain, Messi was tasked to handle the post-match interviews, but just as he was about to head backstage, Weghorst caught up to him and wanted to have a moment to probably talk about the game, but Messi's response will leave you stunned. Called him stupid and told him to get lost. On his part, Weghorst was angry about the whole thing and demanded an explanation from Messi. Whoa, to be fair, I've never seen Messi that angry ever. Safe to say he and Weghorst won't be exchanging DMs anytime soon. Who knows, they might have even blocked each other on social media already, just like Neymar and Alvaro Gonzalez did years back. Now this one has to be one of the most heated social media rivalries I've ever seen. Neymar versus Alvaro Gonzalez. Neymar's PSG team was facing Marseille in a League One match in September. Now it was supposed to be a league match, but from the 89th minute up, it looked like a cutscene from a WWE Royal Rumble. Fights everywhere. Neymar got involved and he accused Alvaro Gonzalez of trying to injure him all game. And worse, even said Gonzalez had used slur words on him. On his part, Gonzalez denied the whole thing, and in turn accused Neymar of faking it and acting like a baby. The French Football Association got involved, and after reviewing the case, they couldn't find enough evidence to back up Neymar's charge against Gonzalez, so they dropped it. But this was only the beginning. Both teams met again, this time on a bigger occasion, the French Super Cup final. PSG won the game 2-1, with Neymar scoring the decisive goal for his team. And right after the final whistle, Neymar went into the locker room to grab his phone, and he couldn't resist. Alvaro, right. Yep, Neymar went on X to mock Gonzalez, but Gonzalez wasn't willing to back down, and so he too fired back. My parents always taught me to take out the trash. Go OM, always. It was on. Neymar was clearly feeling it, and after seeing Gonzalez's reply, he hit back again. And you forgot how to lift trophies. But this Gonzalez dude, he's made of stubborn stuff, and he just won't stay down, so he went at it again. You will forever be in the King Pele's shadow. Now this one, guys, was like a low blow. At the time, Neymar had never won an international trophy with Brazil, and he was getting called out for failing to live up to the tag of being Pele's heir. So once Gonzalez reminded him of the one thing he'd been trying to forget, it hit him hard. And in return, Neymar decided it was time to end the conversation. And so you will forever be in mine. I made you famous. You're welcome. Fenomeno. Endgame. It was over. Looking back at it now, I'm not so sure it was a wise decision by both players to take this one on social media because the internet never forgets. But hey, it was fun while it lasted, and at least it did end there. But for Luis Suarez and Patrice Evra, their hate for each other went on a full scale that lasted months. Suarez was still repping Liverpool when they faced Manchester United in the Premier League, and back then, even in his early days, Suarez still had his bad boy reputation. See, he was a problem for opposition defenders, not just because of how good his football skills were, but also his ability to play mind games with his opponents. In the game versus United, with Patrice Evra marking him, Suarez took it too far. Evra accused Suarez of using slur words on him, and even though Suarez came out to deny the claims, when the video footage of what happened came out, kinda looks like Suarez may have said something in that region, and it caused Evra to lose it. When the FA got involved, they banned Suarez for 8 games and fined him $40,000. That's one huge fine. Still, Suarez maintained that he didn't say anything like that, but it would have been pretty hard to believe him, especially after his cameo at Old Trafford and first meeting with Evra since the incident where this happened. Yep, he refused to shake Evra's hand. Evra kept all of this in in, and soon after United won the game against Suarez's Liverpool, Evra made sure to remind Suarez that he was bigger than all of his trash talk. The banter lives on. Years later, Patrice Evra claims to have forgotten about the whole incident, but I'd bet Suarez still remembers everything. Dude looks like he could hold a grudge for months, and I'm guessing that's probably an Ajax thing. Don't take this from me though. Ask King Zlatan and Rafael van der Vaart. Now guys, the crazy thing about Van der Vaart and Zlatan Ibrahimovic hating each other is that they were teammates. Both Zlatan and Van der Vaart were playing for Ajax at the time, and while they tried to hide it at first, it became clear pretty soon that these two won't be getting along. Back then, Van der Vaart was the sour man in the Ajax team, but once Zlatan came into the squad, the spotlight immediately went on him. Still, the tensions only came in waves, and on the training pitch, it never really made its way into the media, until Zlatan and Van der Vaart met for the first time as opponents in 2004, and things got heated. Sweden versus the Netherlands, and Van der Vaart had to go off after 7 minutes due to this tackle from Zlatan. Ouch. See guys, after the game, Van der Vaart accused Zlatan of tackling him heavily on purpose, and in response, Zlatan told him, "I didn't injure you on purpose and you know it. If you accuse me again, I'll break both your legs, and this time it'll be on purpose." Stern warning, Zlatan isn't playing games. Now, I did meet up with Zlatan years later, and he told me the only reason he and Van der Vaart didn't get along was because he found out that Van der Vaart was the only one on the team who hadn't subscribed to Mr. Football. That's enough reason to be pissed. Thankfully, both Zlatan and Van der Vaart retired with their legs intact. Can't say the same about Alfie Haaland though, after he pissed off the one dude you don't mess with, Roy Keane. Alfie Haaland was playing for Leeds United in the Premier League in 1997 when they took on Manchester United at Eland Road. Back then there was no VAR, so every decision was based on the referee's final thoughts, and this one time, Keane found his way into the Leeds United box and went down. But the ref didn't give a pen. Instead, he told Keane to get up and move on with the game. Now, it could have ended there, but instead, Alfie Haaland wanted to give Keane a piece of his mind and tell him what he thought about the foul. He legit accused Roy Keane of diving. What the hell? Keane could have responded there, but instead, he took it all in and was prepared to wait for his chance for revenge. And 4 years later, he got his big moment. 2001, and at this point, my mum had just given birth to my older bro and was about to ruin my life. Just kidding, man. Alfie Haaland had now transferred to Manchester City, and he was all set to take on Roy Keane's Manchester United team years later. Now, for the record, Keane didn't forget about the stuff Alfie said 4 years back, and now he finally had Alfie in his sights. He locked in his target, and it was game over. Boom. Keane took out Alfie's kneecap with that. There was no hiding it, man. This was on purpose, and Keane knew. Immediately, the red card came out. He didn't even bother. He just took the armband off and started walking. What a guy. In the end, Keane got a 3-game ban and was fined $5,000 for his tackle. Looking at it again, it should have been more. For Alfie, it was over. This injury, coupled with previous injuries he'd sustained early, meant he was going to have to be retiring in the coming months. No wonder Erling Haaland refused to sign for Manchester United. He hates Keane and the club for what they did to his dad. There are some people you simply don't mess with, like Keane or Zlatan. Seems like Oguchi Onyewu didn't get the memo, because in 2010 he picked a fight with Zlatan and this one ended ugly. Both Onyewu and Zlatan were playing for AC Milan at the time, meaning they were supposed to be teammates, but in reality they simply didn't like each other. Anywhere Zlatan goes, he's got to be the main man, or else he's out. And unfortunately, Onyewu didn't understand. One day in training, they both contested the same ball, and after that, Zlatan accused Onyewu of trash talking him. See, to Zlatan, it was a huge shock. Because of how big and scary he was, most people never challenged him to a fight. He'd tear them apart. But this 6'5" dude had openly insulted him in front of the team, and in Zlatan's kind, if he didn't act up or retaliate, he'd be seen as a weakling. So, as Oguchi turned around, Zlatan did him dirty with a tackle, and it turned into a heavyweight clash. In Zlatan's words, the fight was like life and death. They both wanted to hurt each other and spent minutes rolling on the ground throwing kicks and punches. In the end, both dudes were separated, and while Zlatan got out of the fight with a broken rib, kind of feels like Oguchi came out worse, because months later he left Milan and never came back again, and Zlatan went on to become a legend at the club. Still, hats off to Oguchi, the only man to ever hold his own in a fight with Zlatan. Amazing. I can understand teammates fighting because of dirty tackles and stuff on the pitch, but teammates fighting over a woman? That's just messed up. Get this, in 2011, Kevin De Bruyne and Thibaut Courtois were caught in the craziest love triangle I've ever seen. At the time, De Bruyne had a partner named Caroline Linnen, and the two of them were supposed to be going steady, but the relationship was messy. See, De Bruyne had reportedly cheated on Caroline with one of her friends, and as a result, she wanted payback, and figured the one dude she could hook up with that would hurt Kevin the most would be a teammate he was close to. And that's where this dude enters the picture. Thibaut Courtois. Caroline and Courtois hooked up, and she didn't even bother to make the thing a secret, but instead brought it out to the open. When asked about the affair, the stuff she said will leave you stunned. In one night, Thibaut gave me more than Kevin has since we dated. Yo, what the heck? This is messed up. Years passed and both players seemed to move on with their love lives. De Bruyne ended up marrying Michelle Lacroix, and Courtois married Michelle Gerzik, meaning he'd broken up with Caroline, but the two of them don't look like they'd gotten over the issue. Looking at it now, I kinda see why De Bruyne loves scoring against Courtois. It's personal. But when it comes to women and cheating in the game, it doesn't get messier than number one on the list, when Mauro Icardi stole his teammate's family. In 2011, Mauro Icardi was a young Argentine striker looking to make his way in the game, when Sampdoria took a chance on him. Now, Maxi Lopez later joined the club, and being a seasoned pro in the game, he became the guy Icardi could look up to, and all that. At least that's what they thought, because in Icardi's mind, he was more than just taking notes from the pro, he wanted it all, including the family. Icardi and Lopez became so close that they started going on holiday together, and Icardi became a member with their family because he virtually almost came there every day. So when Lopez and his wife Wanda Barra's relationship hit the rocks and was on the verge of breakdown, Icardi was the one guy Lopez thought he could trust to help fix things up. And here's the plot twist. Lopez's wife, Wanda Nara, was cheating on him with Icardi. At first, they both denied the entire thing, but once the evidence became too much, it was clear what was going on. And to Lopez, Icardi became public enemy number one. Months later, Inter Milan bought Icardi from Sampdoria, and at this point, Icardi had now gotten married to Lopez's ex-wife, Wanda Nara, and gotten so crazy attached that he even had Lopez's kids' names tattooed on his sleeve. When they met on the pitch, Lopez made it clear there were still some hard feelings. Yep, he didn't shake him at all. In the end, Lopez moved on and never really said much about the issue. As for Icardi, he and Wanda Nara did split up after years of rumors surrounding them. Safe to say this messy love triangle will take some beating from the top spot. Mauro Icardi, man, what a guy. The dude's from Argentina. He'd better start taking lessons from Messi on how to raise a family. Messi's been faithful to his wife from day one and has only ever been with her since. See, it's not as if different women haven't come Messi's way. From pictures to photos and even trying to get up close and personal with him, Messi always says no. And there's a reason for that. Just hit the next video to find out the secret reason why Messi never touches other women.